Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you guys how to change the front and rear differential fluid in your E90, E91, or even E92 xDrive cars. I think it should be the same amongst all the E9X vehicles, but if not, my bad. But I'm going to be doing this on my 2010 E91 328i. So there's a front differential and a rear differential. The front, you just have a drain and fill plug, and the rear can be a little tricky because there's only a single plug used for draining and filling. So you're gonna have to basically siphon or pump out the fluid from the rear differential. And a lot of pumps have hoses that are a little too big, so you might have to figure out a way to adapt a smaller hose in order to siphon it out. Basically just gonna undo the fill plug first just to make sure I can get it open before draining the fluid. Then I'm gonna remove the drain plug, drain all the fluids out. I'm gonna torque the drain plug to 44 foot-pounds, and then I'm gonna fill it with fluid until basically it just starts leaking out from the top, from the fill plug hole. And then once it starts leaking out slowly, let it drip out a little bit, and then you should be able to torque that fill plug back on to 44 foot-pounds. It should be pretty quick, easy to do. Just got the car, so it's just a good idea to change your fluids whenever you get a new vehicle. So let's get started. Alright, so starting from the front, we need to get access to the front diff, which is going to be revealed when we remove this skid plate. So it's just held on by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe 16mm bolts. Yep. So I'm just gonna pop those off, and we'll go from there. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't, but here is the drain plug for the front differential, and the fill plug is right up here. I'll get a better look at that here in a second. Yeah, so basically we're gonna undo the fill plug first, 14mm hex socket, and then we'll remove this and drain all the fluid out. So let's go ahead and just do that now. This guy in. Okay, she's in there, so let's go ahead and crack her loose. Okay, she's loose now. Get this guy. So that's loose and dripping a little bit. So now we'll go ahead and drain the bottom, the drain plug. So it's the same thing right here. I don't know if you can see it from here. Hopefully you can, but it's right underneath there. Let's go ahead and hit this guy. Ow. Okay, that guy's loose. Should be able to spin this and start draining stuff. Okay, there it is. That is the front diff. Okay, so once you got all this fluid drained, there's not much of it. Once you got it all drained, I'm going to replace these plugs with some new ones, because I don't know if these are the original or if the previous owners actually replaced them. But they're cheap, so might as well. Okay, so once that's drained, I'm going to clean things up a little bit, and then I'm going to torque it down to 44 foot-pounds. I'm going to start pumping new fluid in. Should just take about a quart, basically a whole bottle. I'm using Redline 75 W90 fluid. Try to clean it as best as I can. Okay, put this plug in. Okay, that plugs in, and now I'm going to torque it down to 44 foot-pounds. Okay. get this guy torqued up. Okay, it's 44 foot-pounds right there. So once you get the drain plug in, you're going to need to fill it up with fluid. And so you're going to need one of these pumps. They make some that are basically like the tops of like lotion or soap bottles or soap dispensers. And those work okay. But all the ones I've gotten, they've broken. I've also tried this this little fluid transfer pump from Harbor Freight, which is pretty nice as long as it's working. So it's a cheap tool. The seals in it are ended up having to go to this guy. So this is also from Harbor Freight, but it's just, I don't know, a lot beefier. So I'm going to probably use that guy because this one's kind of broken, but any sort of fluid pump should work fine. Okay, so I took the front driver's side wheel off to just get a better view. It's not necessary, but I think this is definitely going to make it a lot easier because you're not going to be on your back. So if you take the wheel off, you have easy access to the fill port right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my fluid and start transferring it in until it starts to just slowly drip out. So get your drain pan underneath and be ready to catch some fluid. Again, I'm using some Redline 75W90, and I've got my giant fluid pump right here, as you can see. So I'm just gonna suck up some fluid and then start transferring it in there. Okay. I think that should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of clean things up and get this bolt in there and torqued up. Plug is on. So let's get this guy situated and then we'll torque it up. And it's going to be the same torque value of 44 foot-pounds. So let's see if I can reach it from here. Sorry if I am in the way here. Okay, it's not much. That's it, 44. Okay. That takes care of the front. I should be able to bolt this guy up. We're done here, and now let's move on to the rear. Hola. So this should be a bit easier to demonstrate. So you can see here is the fill and drain plug. So I am used to my E36 M3 that has a separate fill plug and a separate drain plug, but I guess on these cars they use the same plug for draining and filling. So it's probably not going to drip out as much when I release this as it shouldn't, because it should be about to the level to where it starts to drain out. So most likely it's not going to be draining too much fluid. So let's get this guy cracked. Okay, hold on. Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Broke her loose. Okay, so it's leaking a little bit, but that's fine. That's about the level that it should be at. We're gonna let it drain out a little bit, and then I'm gonna take my pump and suck all the old fluid out. Okay, so I'm gonna try this now. This is actually a vacuum bleeder, also from Harbor Freight, but I don't ever use this for brakes because it kind of sucks and it doesn't work that great. So I'm gonna see if I can. It's got a smaller hose, so I'm hoping I can perhaps pump out some fluid with this. Guess we'll see. Okay, let's see if I can get some fluid pumping. Hey, it's working! Yeah, I'm just gonna pump this up to, you know, whatever PSI I can and try to get all this fluid out. So like I said, this is just a Pittsburgh brake bleeder and vacuum pump kit. These other pumps are a little, their hoses that they have are a little too big to fit at the bottom of the diff, so yeah, this thing's filling up pretty quick. So I'm just gonna fill it up, dump it out, and then do it again. Drip it out of the plug now. It's doing a constant drip, so I can go ahead and throw that fill plug on and then torque it down. Alright, so again, got a new drain plug. I'm gonna kind of stick this guy on here. That's snug, so I should be able to torque her now. What I have here is I've got a 14mm bolt and 2 nuts on them. I made this a while ago when I first had to drain my E36 M3 differential. Allen key, hex key socket thing was too deep or too long, so basically just stick that in there and then should be able to hopefully fit my torque wrench in there. It might end up being just as deep. Okay, 44. Okay. Yep, fits perfect. So let's put this guy in, torque her down, and 44. Okay. See, so look at the difference here. It's probably out of focus, but that's significantly shorter compared to my socket. Right, so that's all you need. Rear diff is now done. So that's it. All you gotta do is put on the panels that you removed, your skid plates and stuff, and then up front. This is done for the rear. You know, outside of a little bit of oil cleanup. That should be good. Or after a few days of driving, make sure you're not leaking anything. Last thing we got to do is just bolt up the old skid plate. So we're just putting on those 16mm bolts onto the subframe. So yeah, I'm just gonna do them good and tight. I don't think the torque really matters here. It's not gonna go anywhere. All right, those are on and good to go. So that should be it. That wraps everything up. We're good to go.